Jinder Mahal is back for all those that were clamoring, all of two people that were wondering where he was. And not only is he back, but he is back with a new faction consisting of Veer and Shanky. Veer is formerly of Indushir. The other guy is not from Indushir. It's someone that was at Superstar Spectacle a few months ago. So, your thoughts on this? Is this really just a vehicle to build up Mahal so he can feud with Drew at some point, I would imagine?
Oh, easily. I mean, that's where this is going. I mean, it has a story, I guess, from 3MB. I mean, it kind of makes sense. I was honestly thinking the other day, it's funny that it kind of came back, because I saw that Jinder was back, so I'm like, okay, whatever. And I saw you post about it, like, oh, he's on main event, like, thank God. Like, classic GSM. And I'm just, like, thinking about it, I'm like, okay, so when Bobby retains on Sunday, what do you really do with Drew after? I'm like, well, so they really build up as a heel. There's not really too many people. And then I saw Jinder and Raw. I'm like, okay, now it makes sense. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I don't think he'll win. I think this is strictly just to keep Drew busy in the interim, and I'll give it some time. I mean, I'm not the biggest Jinder fan. I mean, not as big as you are. I remember you're a huge fan of his title run. But it is what it is. I think it'll be decent. Something new. Has a story. It is what it is. I'm not hating it as much as you probably are. I mean, I know you're not hating because you're the biggest Jinder Mahal fan in the world.
Of course.
I think if done correctly, it'll keep Drew busy, and I can't complain. So, it is what it is. I'm fine with it.
What the fuck is going on with Jeff Hardy?
I don't know. He's a great... He's one of those guys, I think he's just, at this point, like, he's just happy to be there, and just a good veteran. I don't know. I love Jeff Hardy, big Jeff Hardy fan, always have been, and it's just to the point that I guess he's just kind of putting people over. I guess it's good he's not jumping out of ice machines in different clothes, but at this point, you might as well just pack it as a career.
I don't know, dude, but the thing is that literally a year ago when he came back, they were putting a lot of focus on him. He had the Sheamus feud, and you don't have to be winning every week in order for him to be like a prominent fixture on the show. And I know his dad passed away as well recently, which is why he wasn't at WrestleMania or WrestleMania weekend. But like even before that, they were having him lose the Hurt Business every week. They were having him team with Riddle, which I thought had legs, and they kind of cut that short, and that didn't really go anywhere. I like the whole, makeshift Hardy Bros thing. I thought that was funny. I don't know. I mean, you talk about, like, what do you do with the people in the main event of Backlash after Backlash? Drew and Jinder, don't give a fuck about Jinder, but that's a match you can do. What do you do with Bobby? There's a babyface right there in Jeff Hardy that you can build up as one more title run. And the thing is with Jeff, it's not like he's old and no one cares about him. He's still very popular. That's what I don't understand. Like, I know there's no fans there, but he's still very popular. So, to just...
Oh, easily.
To job him out in 2 minutes when you could be instead building... I'm not even saying you should be WWE champion, but like to just build him up for a match with Bobby. I mean, like, look at over on SmackDown. Cesaro, is not going to win on Sunday, but they're building him up as a challenger for Roman. You should build up Jeff as a challenger for Bobby. Raw has fucking nobody. They have a major roster issue in terms of, like... Again, Ricochet could be a challenger of the month, and they're not doing anything with him. He's on main event having matches with Ali. Riddle's a loser. He's a tag team guy anyway. AJ's a heel. You don't really have any other baby faces. Bray Wyatt's disappeared for right now. That might be for other issues, but I don't know. I just don't understand what's going on with Jeff Hardy. People asking, is he going to AEW at some point? I don't think so. He just recently resigned. I don't think he's going anywhere. Like you said, I get the gist that he's just happy to be there, and that's fine, I guess. And I know this report, like, they got to cycle people in and out. Like, we got to focus on these people first and whatever. But, dude, you can have a guy like Jeff on the show, but still do something meaningful with him where he's elevating other people. He's not elevating Jinder. Jinder is just beating some fucking loser who ended up back on main event. Like, that's a joke. I mean, I don't buy that shit for a second, because you can have people that aren't in the mix right now, but are still kind of around, so to speak. Yeah. Jeff Hardy's not even on the fucking show, aside from Monday when he lost to Jinder in 2 minutes. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just, like you said, I think if done correctly, like you said, they could build him up. Oh, one last more title run. I mean, he is very popular. I mean, at this point, with all the veterans they have left, I mean, him and Rey Mysterio are probably, like, still one of the most overpopulated, like, they were over as fuck in their heyday. I mean, they're still very popular as it is now. I mean, there's so many Jeff Hardy fans. There's so many Rey Mysterio fans. I feel like at this point you can build them up. Like I said, I don't know if they'll get a title run, but done correctly and built up. I mean, people are still would be clamoring for a good Jeff Hardy or Rey Mysterio run. So I think if they built him up correctly, like you said, they could do another like a nice one-off Jeff Hardy. Oh, like he's got one more chance to win the title and face him and Bobby. I mean, better than like you said. I was also thinking about, I'm like, what do you do with Bobby next after WrestleMania Backlash? And I'm just like, I really don't know, because they, like you said, there really isn't too many baby faces that they have, and I mean, there really isn't much for him to do. You're gonna have him and Braun again? I don't know. I don't know when the draft's gonna be, but I just, even if they switch some people from SmackDown, what are you gonna do? I don't know. I think Raw, it's crazy. I feel like Raw is just kind of there. It is every week. It's kind of there. And I've really enjoyed SmackDown a ton. I just don't know why they're both such a polar opposite, and they're run by the same company. It just doesn't make much sense to me.
I don't know. It's not even like with NXT, and I've said this before. It's like, I know Triple H heads that up on creative and shit, and the main roster is different. Same company, but two different people in charge. It's literally Vince in charge of Raw and SmackDown completely. So that's what I don't understand with any of this. In SmackDown last week, I thought it was a great show. Did you enjoy the throwback episode last Friday?
No, I thought it was a great show.
Exactly. I don't understand. It literally is a tale of two shows. I mean, Jeff Hardy's on SmackDown. He's beaten Sheamus a couple pay-per-views in a row. Intercontinental Champion. Had one of the best matches of the year with AJ and Sammy at Clash of Champions. Literally gets drafted to Raw in October. And the first thing they do with this guy is put him in a feud with Elias, who is also a glorified loser. I mean, they have done nothing with this guy from the moment he showed up on Raw. Don't even draft him then at that point. I don't know. Rey Mysterio is another guy where, like, for a company that is so obsessed with nostalgia, you would think they'd be doing more with Rey and with Jeff. I mean, Rey's another guy. At least he's in the tag team title picture right now. But again, he's another guy that could face Roman at some point if they really wanted him to, if they built him up enough. But they have him lose so often, it's like it's hard to take him seriously. And Jeff's even worse because he's on Raw, so I don't know. Hopefully at some point they get their just due, but I know it won't be right now, unfortunately.